I thought she was never coming back from her trip to Europe. Here today to put a Southern spin on some French-style cuisine is registered dietitian and author of the Slim Down South Cookbook, our dear friend Carolyn O'Neil. What in the world? Can I have a hug?
Oh my gosh, September to remember.
It was, how long were you gone?
I was gone a month, but I was in France for 2 weeks. And it was an incredible trip. I mean, such, I had a big birthday this summer, went to celebrate with some friends.
Yay.
I mean, it's on everybody's bucket list, right? To go to Paris, to stand, under the Eiffel Tower. Oh, there, if you stand just the right way, it becomes a hat.
It's
you
so
notice
cute.
That? Yeah, and then of course you just start eating.
Right.
I know there was the Louvre, but I was more in the mood to look for strawberry tarts.
Right.
That was my art that I was looking for in France. And look at those beautiful little strawberry tarts. Amazing, delicious in all the markets. And then you just are wandering around. And of course, we had fabulous lunches all over Paris. Look at that dessert.
Wow,
that is in the Peninsula Hotel. Looks like an airplane, doesn't
Yes.
it? Well, it's in a restaurant called L'Oiseau Blanc, or the White Bird, which was an airplane in France. And so they named the restaurant after that. And it was a spectacular meal overlooking the Eiffel Tower, of course.
Of course.
Bien sûr. And then even in the rain, Christine, people would flock to the street markets to see the most incredible vegetables and seafood and pastries and spices and everything you can imagine. And even berets, of course, if you needed one, they were there too. So again, inspiring.
And one of the things I love is that you came back and your whole thing was obviously Slim Down South Cookbook. She's a dietitian. She cares about what she eats, but she also enjoys eating. And she wants to show us today a few of the ways that these French women are able to look so fit and trim, but still enjoying the things that you did.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You saw them eat, but they're skinny.
Yeah, so a little French lessons.
Okay.
Well, let's start out with what I really learned is these French women really prioritize the foods they care about. The champagne. Well, that's not a food, but it is a food group, I do believe. And chocolate and desserts. And remember I showed you that strawberry tart? Fruit tarts is something, again, you prioritize your splurge food so that you work around it, you enjoy, and you can see these are fairly small servings. And again, they showcase beautiful fresh fruits.
Got it.
And the other thing too, again from the markets, we learned about how much the French get excited, not just about art and fashion, but they get excited about whatever is in season.
Yes.
There were mushrooms everywhere in all of the restaurant menus, from La Reserve to the Lancaster, fresh mushrooms with everything. And so again, here in Georgia, to give it that slim down South spin on French, because you know what? I don't care if you're in South Georgia or the south of France. Same principles apply. And that, of course, is to embrace the beautiful in season. Look at the butternut squash. Of course, we have apples tumbling into our markets right now.
Yes.
So what I have from the Slim Down South Cookbook is a carrot ginger soup.
Ooh,
and
yum.
ginger, again, a little bit of spice, a little bit of kick. Of course, the French always add gorgeous flavors. And so what I've done here is also add another element. So the carrot ginger soup gets Georgia pecans on top.
Yum.
In Paris, they might add whatever nut, a hazelnut or something like that, which is local to Europe. But we, of course, add the Georgia pecan, a little bit toasted. And you know what it does? It adds a little crunch. It adds, be careful with that, we might have to get this, my Parisian pot holder to help you. So you need a little bit of sweet, a little bit of hot, and then the crunch of the pecans.
Wow.
So butternut squash.
That's
what do we
delicious.
do with this big thing? Okay, well you can do so much. You can of course roast it in the oven. But what I like, because it's so hard to like chop into, is to buy the pre-cut in the supermarket, the little bit of the chunks. And what I've done here is just with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of garlic, and then again to give it that French kick.
Excuse me?
Little.
I was told.
Oh, wait a minute.
Excuse me.
I am in the kitchen now.
There we go. Thank you. I knew something was missing. Okay.
I was in a Parisian souvenir shop and I had to get this. I asked the gentleman, am I the only one to buy one today? He said, yes. You are the only one to buy it today.
Yes.
So I had to have it for Atlanta and Company, of course. So I like to add, and I love this, herbes du Provence. Of course, these are French. A little bit of everything in here, even lavender. Rosemary, lavender,
that smells
thyme.
so good.
And again, when you're cooking vegetables, what I learned is the French celebrate them and all the flavors. And so let's celebrate the Southern bounty.
Can I take my soup along?
Yeah, bring it along.
and I'm going to try this. This is amazing.
Yeah, try that.
I'm going to try it.
Sticking to the pan there a little bit.
It's all right.
Because that's the beautiful caramelized sugars that are natural, you know, in the butternut squash, which again, as a dietitian, like to say, very good for you. Anyway, so lima beans. One another thing I noticed in France, yes, they like their French fries and their foie gras, but they also love beans and peas and all the different legumes. We here in Georgia have gorgeous lima beans. This is a lima bean tomato relish, and essentially just lima beans, and these are frozen. Absolutely nothing wrong with using nature's pause button. And some red onion again.
Look how beautiful and vibrant that is.
A little bit of garlic, because why not? We are having a French accent here.
See.
Red wine
Oui, oui.
vinegar. Again, not so much balsamic over there, more red wine vinegar.
Interesting.
Little Eiffel Tower, of course, to inspire you through the recipe.
Okay.
And of course, a little touch of salt and pepper.
Perfect.
And then dill.
And then
a little
dill.
dill. Because again, it's all
Let's
about
stir that up.
the herbs to give it that elegance.
Right.
A
Okay,
little
Brian says
elegance.
we have about a minute and a half
Oh,
left, and I
perfect.
know we want to get to some of the
we know
appetizers.
that they love cheese.
Cheese, yes.
But guess what? I would like you to get a close-up of this cheese, this fromage platter, because you will notice how small the cheese servings are. This teeny little brie, teeny little pieces. This is what they do. This is how the French women, you know, and as a dietitian, as a nutrition advisor to the Calorie Control Council, it is all about portion control.
Right.
But portion control with beautiful things that you like to eat and good nutrition. Also, they drink a lot of water. And what I noticed, along with the champagne.
What's water? Oh, sorry.
And here's your French glass. You're a Clementine, and I am Excel, the French glasses.
Yes.
And I noticed also, look at this, when they were enjoying coffee, they had it with chocolate in the afternoon. But look at how
just a bit.
big this piece of chocolate is. Not too big.
When you come back and you realize, like, our portion, our sizes are so out of control. I mean, it must have really jarred you back to reality, thinking, look at what we're eating here in restaurants.
The neat thing, the neat thing about having small servings,
yes.
guess what, folks? That means you can have a variety of a lot of different tastes.
Right.
And that
Wow.
brings us to another lesson in French slim eating, and that is, of course, to move slowly into our meals.
Yes.
To enjoy an aperitif. This is a little rosé from Provence.
Oh, wow. This
And
is
look at this,
great.
these potato chips, believe it or not, olives, and they're Niçoise olives, and pecans, of course, Georgia pecans, because we're in the South.
Yes.
Cheers. This is what they have before the meal. Now, this would be for like 5 or 6 people.
Right,
But a
but
little
just
bit of something just to
not
ease
to
into
overdo
the
it.
meal.
Oh, I
and
love
then
this.
say, you know what?
Cheers.
We're so satisfied. We're not stuffed. We're slim, we're trim. I think I'll go out and buy another scarf because I'm French.
She said all she saw was scarves. Okay, I'm so happy you're back, and we're actually
Moi aussi.
co-hosting an event tonight, so we're
Yes.
going to have a lot of fun.
Fix Georgia Pets.
For Fix Georgia Pets, if you want to go.
The
on
theme is
website.
Beatlemania, but I thought it was Beaglemania.
So
which
we're going
is
to
more
have little dog
appropriate.
ears. No, let's do it.
So, Slim Down South Cookbook.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy you're back. Like I said, if you want more information about any of the great things she learned, any of her tips, go to CarolynO'Neil.com.